all of them down there. There they are. They are 90 plus feet. I can just barely see the hash marks. If you look real carefully, right there, it doesn't look like much, but that is a very, very good thing to see. That's all I need to see in order for me to go drill a hole 100 feet that way. I'm out on the middle of a frozen lake. It's like, where do you begin? You know, you can come here and look at the map, which we've done in the past. And yeah, you go bore out the basins, you go bore out a point maybe, an extension, a rock bar, whatever it might be. But more often than not, those fish, those good schools of fish that you find generally relate to something that you may not even look at on the map as a fish holding area. So this thing is so invaluable to me when determining, you know, where do I start my hunt? Because I mean, that's fishing. You're hunting fish, you're fishing. And the less holes I can drill, the happier I'm gonna be at the end of the day. But we have to go that way. They are not showing really well. First, they've still shifted out a little bit. They're still 60 feet away. But right now I can tell they're either coming or they're going. They're actually going. I can see them slowly creeping. Now they're getting out, the main school is getting out to 60. Now if those fish were sitting perpendicular to my sonar, they'd read really, really well. But since they're moving away, I'm just kind of looking down the barrel of those crappies, looking more at their tails. That's why they're showing up very, very, it's a real dismal mark. So let's say this is my transducer pointing out 80, 90, 100 feet, and a crappie is swimming away. Your signature is going to be so much more thin than when he's perpendicular to your transducer. So keep that in mind when you're on the hunt. Just because something may look like, and that's why I'm saying this, is because it may look like a school of bait fish or something, but it's so hard to say. You just don't know. You know, you could think those are a little school of bait fish or something, but that's actually big panfish swimming away from you or toward you. It works either way. And like I said, I know it doesn't look like much. That's a big school of crappies right there. On the move, always. We've tightened the distance. Just right over here, I'm gonna pop a hole, and this is gonna be money. See, there's my hole I just drilled, and I might not quite be right on him, but it might be good enough. Smoking up, smoking up, smoking up. Got him. I'm gonna pull this out. People talk about the community hole and stuff like that, and that, you know, there's a reason for that. But if you want to get on some fish that are not in the community hole, look at that. That's a big giant crappie. The days of fishing the community hole are over for me. Not when you can come out and find new fish of your own, and you can have your own little honey hole. Look at that. That is a nice big crappie. I'm gonna let her go right away. Because I pulled that fish so high out of the school, boom, yes, there's more down here. You can see it's just a real run and gun situation. Here comes another one. 3, 2, 1. One of the most important things about targeting crappies is not pulling fish through that school. I'm just picking the top layer of crappies off that I can. Oh, look at the size of that one. I can barely get my hands around him. Here, I'm gonna dunk him real quick for you guys. He's all slushy. Yeah, that's what we're gonna get, so. But the reason why I think we're able to catch so many and capitalize on this school of fish is because we're taking those fish on the upper column of the school and not disrupting that school. Sometimes they can be super fickle and flighty. We've had some incredibly flighty crappies this year because of the ice conditions. You know, we've had thin ice, clear ice, and they get incredibly flighty and hard to stay on. So when you do in fact land on some, get them while the getting's good, like that. That school hasn't moved because I got that fish to come up from the school. We should almost do a little experiment on pulling one from the bottom of the school. It's not a big one, but the more important thing is getting back down there. See, there's a whole bunch of them just 5-6 feet away. Oh, a good old crappie bite through the ice is hard to beat. Early ice. Wow. Jeez. This could be a real horse. There's my swivel. Oh, this one is just not... He looks like a good one. He looks like a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's the importance of a soft rod and a little, you know, a little shank of fluorocarbon. You know, this is like 4-pound fluorocarbon. And, you know, despite what everybody says about fluorocarbon being no stretch, that's not overly true or accurate. But paired with the braid and a softer rod, you know, the braid allows me to get a good driving hook set. But the shank of fluorocarbon also, you know, these aren't inherently ice fishing. You're not using big hooks, so you're never wanting to tear those hooks, but you do want to get a good hook set. That's where the braid comes into play. The limber rod helps me not tear hooks along with the shank of fluorocarbon. This one feels pretty nice too. Oh, whoa. Mitch, what do we have here? This looks, is that a real, oh, I don't know. He's big, but the more impressive thing is he has that thing just buried, piped. That is down the hatch. I have both my index and my thumb down there to pull that out of a crappie's mouth. You know it's a good sized crappie when you can do that. This feels like a good one. They're all good ones. Why, hello. I love it when they just splay out like that when they come out of the hole. It's one right after the other. One right after the other. You know, right now we have early ice, as you can see, no snow, thin ice. Everything about this is a recipe to be mobile, but as time goes on, it gets much harder and harder to be mobile. that's where I start using that rattle and that sound to try to appease their senses and try to get them to come to you more so. You know, it's not like you're in open water where you can just drift even and cover water and just get around fish. It just makes things so much more difficult on the surface of this ice. You know, then you add 3 feet of snow and another 2 feet of ice, and now you're really gonna have a good time. So I love experimenting with baits that have rattles and tons of vibration, or fish that are just real flighty and moving around. Like right now we have early ice. These fish are being pretty cooperative, but if they get to be flighty, you know, you drill near them and they move, but they might not move very far, but they just don't want to be right over where you drilled, you know. So that's where you want to get in the vicinity of them. You know, that's where obviously I use my electronics. I get around the area they want to be, drill my holes, sit quiet. If that doesn't work, you know, then I'll go and grab something a little more aggressive, like a rattle bait, something with, like a rip and wrap, or something with a lot of vibration, or rattles.